All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are going to tackle one of the most common and, honestly, most frustrating insurance denials out there, the PR26, or as you probably know it, coverage exhausted. We're going to break down exactly what it is and give you a simple, repeatable process to knock it out fast.
You know the story, right? You submit a claim, you wait, and then boom, it comes back with that denial. It can feel like you've hit a brick wall, but I'm telling you, it's not a dead end. There is a clear path forward, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly what to do every single time this happens.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get a quick lay of the land, the whole world of denials. Then, we'll zoom in on our target, PR26. The main event is our two-phase solution. This is the framework you're going to use to solve this every time. And then, we'll wrap up with some pro tips to make all your calls with insurance companies way more effective.
Okay, let's start by zooming out for just a second. We're focusing on one specific denial today, but you know as well as I do, it lives in a pretty crowded, pretty complex neighborhood.
It is so easy to get overwhelmed by just how many reasons an insurance company can deny a claim. You've got untimely filing, duplicate claims, non-covered services. The list just goes on and on. But here's the secret. The specific reason for the denial isn't as important as the process you use to solve it. See, if you can master a logical framework for just one of these, you can apply that same thinking to almost all of them.
So let's do that. Let's get specific and master the process by focusing on Patient Responsibility Code 26, or PR26, which we all know as coverage exhausted.
It really is as straightforward as it sounds. For whatever reason, when the insurance company looked at your claim, their system said, nope, this patient wasn't covered on this day. But the key words there are their system, because as we're about to see, their system is not always right.
And this right here brings us to the core of this whole thing. Let's forget about confusion and guesswork. This is a super simple two-phase process that's going to give you the right answer and the right next step every single time. It all comes down to one idea: verify, then act.
Before you do anything else, and I mean anything, stop. Do not pick up the phone. Don't rebuild a claim. Your very first move, and your only move at this point, is to go straight to the payer's online portal and check the patient's eligibility for that exact date of service. This one step is the fork in the road, and what you find out dictates everything that happens next.
So the result of that check is going to give you one of two answers. That's it. Condition 1, the patient's insurance was in fact active. Great news. Or Condition 2, the denial was right and the insurance wasn't active. Each one of these outcomes has its own clear path, so let's break them both down. Okay, let's start with the best case scenario. You just went on their own website and confirmed the patient had coverage. Perfect. This proves the denial was just a processing error on their end. Now you pick up the phone. And you just state the facts, plain and simple. Hi, I'm calling about claim number X. It was denied for PR26, but I've just verified on your portal that the patient was active on the date of service. Could you please go ahead and reprocess the claim? It's clean, it's direct, and it works.
But what if the denial was correct? What if the patient really wasn't covered? Well, your job's not done yet. Your next move is to do a little investigating. Check your own system. Are there any other insurance policies on file for this patient? If you find one, great. You update the info and bill the correct carrier. Now, if you've looked everywhere and there's no other coverage, then and only then does the responsibility shift and you bill the patient directly.
Now, here is a fantastic tip that will save you so many headaches, especially when you're on that second path. If your patient is over 65, your first thought should always be Medicare. Always. Even if it's not listed in their chart, there's a really high chance they have it. A quick eligibility check for Medicare can often uncover the primary insurance you've been looking for all along.
Okay, so we've totally nailed the process for PR26. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a few tips that honestly apply to any time you have to get on the phone with an insurance company. These habits are going to make you so much more efficient and a lot more successful.
I know this sounds simple, maybe even a little obvious, but it is so important. Think about it. The person on the other end of that line talks to frustrated, sometimes angry people all day long. When you are polite and patient and professional, you immediately stand out. You make them want to help you solve the problem. It's a game changer.
And being professional starts with being prepared. Never, ever make a call without all of this information right in front of you. You need the provider's tax ID, the patient's full info, the claim number, date of service, and the amount billed. And while you're talking, always get two things before you hang up: the representative's name and a call reference number. This creates a paper trail and is your proof if you ever have to follow up.
When it comes down to it,
Even though we walked through the PR26 denial today, what you've really learned is a system. A system of verifying before you act, of following a logical path, and of always being prepared. Applying this kind of methodical approach is what separates the pros from everyone else. So think about it. What's another common denial you face all the time that you can apply this verify, then act system to tomorrow?